Welcome to the third part, where I'll walk you through the exciting process of transforming a heartfelt quote about fathers, focusing on stepfathers, into a stunning design. To create designs that resonate with this niche, we need to dive into some thorough research and explore how people typically sell designs related to this particular quote. Our first step involves referring to 6 existing designs that share similarities with our chosen quote. However, don't hesitate to conduct additional research to gather more valuable insights. The more data we gather, the clearer and more accurate our understanding of this niche will be, enabling us to craft designs that truly capture the essence of the message. Let's take a look at the first example, the leftmost sample. It is clear that it embraces a retro style, featuring a familiar background called sunset. However, the color scheme could use some improvements at the moment. The layout is simple with a combination of words, followed by pictures, and then more words. Moving on to the middle template, it maintains the retro and vintage vibe. However, this time the focus is solely on text, as there are no accompanying images used. Only a few decorative details are added to enhance the overall designs. When examining the font usage in this design, a prominent and popular feature stands out: the use of interlaced fonts. The pattern is quite evident. Line 1 employs font number 1, followed by line 2 using font number 2, and then line 3 reverts to font number 1, and finally, line 4 switches back to font number 2. This arrangement creates an engaging effect, capturing the reader's attention line by line. Let's dive into this sample for a closer analysis. The first line, I'm not there, uses the first font, followed by the second line, stepfather, with the second font. Then the line, I'm there, reverts back to the first font. Next, it switches again to the second font for the word father. However, in the last line, an interesting observation emerges. Just before the word that, the word stepped up shared the same red tone, creating a visual cluster. This implies that both that and stepped up belong together in the same block and are to be treated as a single entity utilizing the first font. It becomes clear that the focus is solely on the phrases stepfather and father, while the lower paragraph doesn't carry any special emphasis since it maintains the same first font. Let's explore the third design. I'm not the stepdad. Similar to the previous examples, interlaced fonts are still employed. We observe the following sequence: I'm not there, I'm there, and that stepped up are only font number 1, while stepdad and dad are only font number 2. The use of interlaced fonts continues, creating an engaging visual effect. Now turning our attention to the image, it features two faces, much like design number 1. However, unlike the previous photo, this one is a vector. Now let's explore the fourth sample. In this template, a different approach is taken, as it solely utilizes the font without incorporating any texture or images. The emphasis also shifts from highlighting entire phrases to focusing solely on keywords. As with the previous samples, the main focus remains on stepfather and father. However, in this design, the attention is directed only towards stepfather, while the other phrases are downplayed. All other phrases are kept minimal. When you glance at the template, your eyes are immediately drawn to the word stepfather, which takes up the largest area. Now let's take a look at the fifth sample, which adopts a half-picture layout, featuring an image on one side and text on the other. This layout presents a crucial requirement: selecting a fitting image. Typically, it should be a portrait or someone's face. However, it is essential to note that this template isn't limited to father-related quotes alone. It can be adapted for other niches as well. To execute this layout successfully, it is crucial to find images that are symmetrical. Examples can include sunflowers, lions, wolves, or deer, and more. The image chosen must harmonize well with the text, creating a visually appealing composition. So, while exploring this layout, remember the significance of finding the right image. Next, let's discuss the arrangement of letters in the design. Typically, people position the text on the right side, as left aligning the text enhances readability. This prioritized approach optimizes the overall design, making it more user-friendly. However, within this template, a minor issue arises in the image section. Careful attention must be given to the brightness and darkness of the chosen image. In this case, the model's eye appears quite bright, but the corners are darker. When combining this image with the text, unintended dark spaces emerge, making the design challenging to read. This small error is something the designer has yet to address and resolve. Now let's explore the final template, the text sample. This layout takes the form of a circle with the text curving around it. While it offers an elegant design, it may pose some challenges for machine-generated layouts. It requires breaking sentences, which might be a bit complex. When using this circular layout, it is crucial to split the chosen quote in half thoughtfully. This ensures a harmonious flow when breaking the text into upper and lower lines. So the first step involves researching existing templates that share the same quote you have chosen. This exploration will reveal how many designs have been crafted using this particular text. By doing so, you can ascertain whether there are opportunities for improvement or whether you might be the first to create an unique design featuring this quote. Let's dive into ideas for the same niche. Within the dead niche, I have crafted 4 samples that spread a captivating visual vintage style while embracing an incredibly minimalist approach. These templates thoughtfully use a specific color palette and a single font, thusly blending on elements into a polished design. One of these samples is the daddy design, enhanced by an additional flag element. The flag's inspiration is drawn from the American flag. Here we should talk about the dad niche and also the mom niche. Niches, being more general in nature, don't necessarily require specific illustrations. Instead, they encompass broad themes that resonate with a wider audience. As a result, designers often blend them with other interests, such as hobbies, occupations, and more. For instance, if a father has a passion for baseball or football, corresponding images can be seamlessly incorporated. The careful combination of these interests enriches the design, making it even more appealing to individuals sharing the same interests. However, it is crucial to be mindful that when combining these niches with other interests, it can totally transform the overall concept entirely. So by doing that, a unique and distinct design images catering to specific target audiences. For example, the flag pattern, when it is paired with relevant images, can yield exceptional success, especially when they are showcased on Independence Day, creating a design that cultivates and resonates with patriotic sentiments. Now, let's shift our focus to the third sample, which takes a more specific approach by associating the term dad with a particular passion or occupation. This allows for a deeper exploration of designs that combine the concept of fatherhood with other niches, providing a broader range of possibilities and creative opportunities. Depending on the chosen quote, there may be chances to blend multiple niches together to create a unique and compelling design. But if the quote does not align with other niches, some adjustment might be necessary. After researching shared quote samples in the dad niche, we have found some important insights. For dad-related designs, simplicity is key. Images are kept straightforward and uncluttered, avoiding complex elements. In terms of colors, the palette remains limited, often featuring a black background with white, yellow, or green text, along with vintage vibe. Fonts play a significant role as well. Many designs offer slightly square, angular, or elongated fonts, giving a unique touch to the overall look. Some fonts even incorporate special effects like crumbled or dusty appearance, while others stick to simple and clean fonts. By keeping these characteristics in mind, designers can create impactful templates within the niche. Emphasizing simplicity and utilizing specific fonts and colors will help convey heartfelt messages about fatherhood effectively, resonating with the intended audience. Now let's dive into the design components section. I have categorized a few font groups that you can consider incorporating into your designs. For instance, in the vintage style, I have chosen 2 fonts to showcase, although there are many others available. The first font features scratch line effects, while the second font carries a dotted effect. These fonts are characterized by textured surfaces and slightly rough lines, creating a nostalgic ambience and evoking a timeless feel. They add a charming and sentimental touch to your designs, reminiscent of a cherished timestamp. Let's explore the second font, which falls into the grunge style similar to vintage. What sets it apart is the scratch effect designed to resemble the form of dust. It adds an authentic and weathered look to your text, giving it a unique and rustic charm. Moving on to the last font, we have a simple and minimalistic style. I have included 2 fonts for consideration. The first one is American Captain, a widely used font in the dad niche and other niches related to men. It exudes a bold and impactful presence, making it perfect for designs that demand attention. The second font is Achievable, featuring clean and straightforward strokes with no special effects. This font is incredibly user-friendly and easy to work with, making it an excellent choice for hassle-free designs. Let's process with selecting images for the designs. Here are a few suggestions for you to consider. The first option features an image of a large hand holding a small hand, beautifully symbolizing the profound bond shared between a father and his son. This heartwarming representation captures the essence of fatherhood and conveys a sense of love and protection. The second option involves using a silhouette image of a father and son. Silhouette images are incredibly versatile and simplistic, making them a perfect match for various fonts and color choices. What's more, silhouettes don't delve into specific details like hair, skin color, or clothing, making them inclusive and universally relatable to people from all walks of life. For a more distinctive and artistic approach, consider utilizing an image that depicts an artistic lion. In family designs, it is quite common to employ personification images. Instead of directly depicting fathers, this method involves using animal images to represent family members. For instance, in templates about mother, one might use images of bears, flamingos, birds, and more. This creative twist adds a unique touch to the design, and in case of father, portrays them with a majestic, powerful aura. By exploring these diverse image options, you can craft compelling and engaging templates that resonate deeply with your audience and capture the true essence of fatherhood. Each image choice adds its own special meaning, contributing to the emotional impact of the overall design. Once we have an image, let's pick the perfect color tone for our design. In this first example, we have opted for light blue and white tones. Why? Well, if you choose navy blue on a dark background, the color depth becomes too intense, making it difficult to read. That's why it's better to go with a lighter shade. Next up is red or yellow, a color combination that exudes power and evokes a vintage classic feel. The third color group offers more options, which are organized into 3 main parts. The first part has 6 colors like this, the second goes deeper, and the third one has a dark color which is suitable for the background. Remember, when selecting colors, it is crucial to identify the background color and the one used for detailing. Let's dive into practice now. In the first step, if you use the existing quote in a picture format, the chance of typo errors is quite high. To avoid that, we can take a screenshot, head over to Google, do an image search, and upload the image with a simple Ctrl+V. This way, we will see this. And next, we will focus on selecting the text section. We will still clear from the translate part as it might alter the quote's original meaning deliberately crafted by its creator. So we will only select the text, then use select all and copy. At this point, we can paste the quote somewhere to save it. Example, I'm using the Google Translate. After that, we can copy the quote into our design. If needed, we can break the phrase at this stage before pasting it into the quote section. Do all the adjustments you want and then paste it into your design. Next, let's prepare a file like this for our design. As for the size ratio, you have the freedom to choose, or you can opt for GearLaunch frame to maintain a standard frame. Before diving into the design process, ensure that you drag the ruler to the center. You can also use Ctrl+R for a quick setup, or simply go to View and select Ruler. This step ensures proper alignment. Now it's time to select a design template. To do this, use the Windows key to take a screenshot of your design template or design and then include it in your design project. This way, you will have a starting point to work with. In order to begin, I'll press Ctrl+N to create a new window like this. And then, I'll use Ctrl+V to paste the screenshot I took recently. I'll drag this window to the side for easy reference. Next, I'll select the color palette. For the color palette, we should go back to the example and choose the one for our design. We're going back to our examples. Choose one, and then once again we press Ctrl+N to create another window and then use Ctrl+V to paste it here. So now we have 2 windows, one for the image and one for the color reference. Moving on to the next step, we can start designing. Since it's a simple design, we only need to focus on the fonts and colors. For the font, we can choose from the ones we have discussed earlier. As for the color, we already have it available here. Currently, we are at the stage where we have to use the T button to add a text box. To proceed, click inside the text box and then paste the part of the text you want to include here. Repeat this process for each section. As per the instructions, copy and paste each section carefully to ensure the text is complete. Once you have arranged all the parts, select the entire text using your mouse. Then navigate to the text option and adjust the line spacing and everything else if needed. Next, drag the text box to position it accordingly. This is just the initial step. Let's move on to the next step, which involves editing the font and adding a face. To hide the ruler, simply press Ctrl and semicolon and it will disappear. Once that is done, we will proceed to choose the font for our design. You have the option to select different fonts alternatively or stick to just one font. I'm making my choice of choosing one font here. Returning to this slide, focus on the font. Pick one that best suits your design. And now, click on the section where you want the change to apply, like the stepfather and the father. Is where we want to emphasize here. Adjust them accordingly to achieve the desired effect. These steps help you replicate this layout, resulting in a simple design like this. For example, if you want to create curving text like this, choose the text father, choose web text, and then choose arc lower, meaning that the lower part will be curving. If you want it to curve upwards, then drag this section backwards. It's very easy. Next, because the curve decreases the text height, choose character like this. If your Photoshop interface doesn't show this section, then you go to Window, and then you select character, then it will appear. So here, if you select line number 3, the height of the text will increase immediately. And for the word that, make it smaller and drag the step up here. It is very simple. We have created one design like this. Once we have done with the first design, we will continue to design more. Now I will add the image. So based on the sample template we have here, with the sunset background image, you can see it here. In order to make the design work easier, we will group all these texts and make it smaller like this. Okay, that is done. Now let's do the sunset. Like I've said before, they didn't do the sunset very well in this sample. So basically, sunset is the sun going down effect, with the lower part might be a beach or trees or grass. We can see so many examples on Google here. One notice is we will not use straight lines like this because they are very rough. We should choose soft and natural models like such as grass, ocean, or pine forest. Now let's create these beautiful sunset templates together with the following steps. First, you select the shape tool and pick the ellipse tool. Then you draw a circle while holding Shift to ensure it's perfectly round. Enlarge the circle to the desired size, creating a shape like this. Next, we will add horizontal lines like this. Use the rectangle tool to create rectangles similar to these, and then you can duplicate them about 6 times. Make necessary adjustments as needed. In the next step, select all the rectangles and choose a light color such as yellow to make them easier to observe. Now you should hide the image below since we won't need it at this stage. Okay, now move the circle part to the bottom and choose a different color to make it more visible. Now you should take note of this pattern. The sunset part usually covers only a half or 2/3 of the picture, not the entire frame. So in order to match the image you have, drag the bar down here to achieve the same effect, and you can hide the circle to see better adjustment. Next, we should align the rectangles and spread them evenly. You can follow my steps here. So you can see it doesn't have any gap, so we should pull one out and then select them all, select alignment, and then automatically all will stretch. Make adjustment until you see it's okay. Now we press Ctrl T and drag it to both sides. You can drag to the full image as well. And then now we can progress to the image color fill. Let's choose this top row. So the first step, you should lock the color. We can do that by clicking on the black color here, and then the black one will appear here. Next, we choose the first color from the first row and then the next one, and then select all 6 colors. So after selecting, all 6 colors will appear here, and the lock is this black. Now we will process to fill the color from top to the bottom. Starting with the top layer, click on these first colors. Once you have filled in the first color, that color box will run to the left like this. Just remember that the next color is the color right next to this black box. Gather all the color lines, excluding the circle. To create a group, press Ctrl+G and you can name the group for easier management. Now we turn on the circle, hold Ctrl and click on the circle icon. Then select the previously formed group and click on this icon. It will turn to this. Now you can hide the circle and the grid line. Congratulations, you have just created a sunset template. Now proceed to adding text to the picture. Let's drag the I'm not there and step further upwards. Here, to avoid accidental selection, you should lock the sunset part. And now we should align each word or phrase accordingly. At this stage, we will change the font to a different one. Since this font is horizontal, we will need to shrink the text. Similarly, apply the new font to the above line. To enhance the design, you can increase the height of the word step further and select a taller font, making it more prominent. And now, feel free to make any further adjustment as needed. Continuing with the process, we arrange the remaining characters and check if the text is centered, aligning it properly. At this step, we may encounter the following issue. There is a pivot part in here, so to address this, you should perform a Google search using this keyword and then select an image that closely matches the design. Images like this are the best choices. And for an image like this, it might be a bit challenging as it occupies a considerable area. You should select the one that is spacious so we can add our picture. Place the pictures in this area, rearrange and align it to ensure a beautiful layout. This step will give you a design like this. Let's give this part a name. Now moving on, in this section, we will find an appropriate image to incorporate. We have several options, including a hand picture and a father and son image, which I already prepared. So you should place the chosen image here and adjust its size accordingly. Next, we will process the image. Now in order to add a border around it, you should duplicate this layer, and with the layer below, right-click and select Blending options. Off for stroke, increase the thickness, set position to outside, blending mode to normal, and choose black as the color. Now let's fine-tune the border thickness to our liking. When we turn off the background, we may notice that our design appears somewhat messy. This can affect the final printed result on a shirt, so we need to fix it. Here the part stepfather should have the shadow, so to create a shadow, duplicate the layer and apply the same process as before to the layer below. And then it's done. Now here's the handy tip for the parts with the stroke effect. Right-click on each of them and choose red to highlight them. Similarly, mark the pine forest layer in red also. Next, you hold the Ctrl button and select all the layers highlighted in red. Group them together by pressing Ctrl G. And then you drag this group below the text layer, but above the shape layer. Now let's name this group Deep. Right-click on it and select Blending options. For fill opacity, set it to 0. For knockout, choose Deep. This will give you a transparent effect, making your design appear clean and well-defined when displaying the background. Upon reviewing the designs, I noticed that from the first design, you can simply change the color to achieve a different look. This applies to the other designs as well. So by altering the color, you can create multiple variations while maintaining the same overall design. And moving on to this section, you may need to make a few adjustments. For example, with the sunset style, you can switch the image to get a different model. In the third model, the change is to a square sunset, which alters the proportion of the lights. So when you go online, you can find various samples and choose the right color tone that complements the style you want. For the fourth model, they change the background color and the character image, but keep the font. That's how people are developing their designs. So with the techniques I have just shared, you can apply them to your own designs. While your initial attempts may not be perfect, practice and gradual refinement will lead to completely new designs. Ultimately, you will create the designs that you truly love.